Alright, talking about the next chapter of the Twilight movies, and I'm kind of looking forward to this, how this pulls out for me. So here we go for chapter 2 of the Twilight series. I'm looking forward to this. So, with that being said, here we go. And that will be 2009's Twilight Saga New Moon. So, someone I know that really, really loves this movie, I just hope they don't hate on me for talking about how this is going to go. So, Bella is just, she's trying to find her life going because after her departure of Edward, her love, she finds comfort in her deepening friendship with Jacob, played by Taylor Lautner, and her loyal stuff are put to the test after she becomes drawn into these werewolves and ancient enemies of vampires. This one's now more about Jacob in this one. I don't know how this movie will be pulled out for me. I remember giving it a lower grade before. So, well, here we go. This movie's not good. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me. For some reason, I was just like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. The thing that really was bad about it was that it's not terrible. It's just boring. And I don't know. Maybe it's just with less Edward in the movie, it was just boring. I don't know. I don't hate Jacob as Taylor Lautner. Maybe they just would have been better. They were just talking and talking and a lot of talking and more talking and more talking. I mean, what do you expect me to talk about? I mean, there's a lot of talking in this movie. Let's just talk about this. The acting is still alright. It's there. I mean, it's the same thing you've seen from the last one. Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, Taylor Lautner, they're there. They're just doing what they're doing with the contracts, but they're doing all right. Screenwriting, the dialogue is really bad still. It's from the book, but it's there though. It's there, I guess. The CGI for the werewolves in this movie they're good. They could have been better, but they were good for what they were given with this movie. Um, there's scenes of just talking. There's a lot of talking of, oh, Bella now gets to see the world of the vampire. Not the vampires. What the fuck am I talking about? The werewolves and how they get along, and Jacob's trying to get up on Bella and everything. And this is one of the first ones where he takes his shirt off a good amount of times. Which that's not a problem for most people. That could be a problem. For me, I'm just like, you do what you do, buddy. You got good muscles, so you do what you do. Back then, I really hated it because in Bring It Home Part 1, I saw that one in theaters, and I kept thinking they're going to keep doing it because I kept hearing they did that stuff. And when I went to see it, a few minutes in, he took her shirt off, and woo! It was a lot of good screaming. They like that kind of stuff. I don't hate it as much now. I'm just like, do what you do, guys. Um, Jacob, I feel like they were trying to make more narrated character for him than the fleshing out. They were doing it with this one. And this is where he has the short hair now. And he does fine for what he's doing. He's fine. I kind of like his character, actually. I understand what he was saying. He fixes stuff. He fixes vehicles and all this. He's a mechanic type of thing. And it was cool. I actually liked what they were trying to do with that, even though it was still boring, but for what they were doing, they were trying. Um, Edward, yeah, he's barely in this movie. There's scenes where she could see, she's seen him through like he's just there in her head, and it was weird. And the reason why they're not together is because there's a scene to where she had a birthday party. It was a birthday. And when she was unwrapping the gift, she had a paper cut. And his brother becomes overwhelmed by it, and he tries to attack her. I was like, all right, whatever. For what it is, I understand it, and that's why, because he doesn't want her to get hurt. That's fine, whatever. I mean, I was like, to keep the plot going, it is, and that's where he's barely in the movie, and she sees him from just in her head, and this is where Jacob got with it. This is where Jacob shows up and tries to help her from all this, and this is where he tried to get into her. Get out of this. How do we? I guess we call it the friend zone. Get it in this love triangle shit. I was like, you know what? For what it is, I don't mind it. But this movie is just there. This movie's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. You know how long that is? That's like, sitting there at a boring movie for 2 hours. And there's a movie that did do that to me. There are movies that do this. This is not the most boring movie, but it's there. It's still it's boring at times. But I just feel like it was just, Bella is just dull still. She's really depressed in this movie. Like, it's so depressed it made me depressed. I was like, wow, girl, this is the most depressing character I think I've ever seen. Is that bad? No, it's not. But I just don't know. It was just like, yeah, and it's just, yeah. There's scenes where the werewolves morph, with especially Jacob. And I was watching it, and I was like, alright, cool. Cool. I didn't hate it. And this is where Dakota Fanning's character gets involved, and Michael Sheen's character gets involved. And I was like, oh, Dakota Fanning and Michael Sheen. They got themselves pulled into this one. Good job, guys. You're really setting yourself to a bargain here. But they were fine. They're the ancient vampires. They're the Volturi. And I liked what they did. Their stuff fleshed out pretty good. But with all the not the vampires. What am I talking about? With all the werewolf stuff going on, I was fine with it. She's there at his home and his people's home for a good amount of days, I guess. It was all weird, and then there's this Victoria vampire that just is trying to get revenge, I guess, or avenge someone, and I'm just like, okay, alright. And then we see Edward again, and Alice, his sister, is trying to tell her to travel to Italy to save him because he's doing the one thing. He's committing suicide. That's what he's doing. And there's the scene where she's running to get to him, so slow motion and so much weird editing. I mean, I was just watching, and I was like, guys, stop. Just stop, please. There's so much editing and slow motion nonsense. I was just like, guys, please tell me you can do better with this, right? The action scenes are good. There's moments to where you're like, okay, they're fleshed out enough, but not good, but all right. The third act is just slow motion, man. For a good amount of it, there was just slow motion, and then meeting the Volturi and everything, I was like, all right, guys, you're there. And he was getting ready. The thing he was trying to commit a suicide with was taking his shirt off and brightening in the sun into the light. Now, I could have been fine with it, but it just felt really just there to keep the time going. I mean, you see Edward, he's in the beginning of the movie, he's in the end of the movie, and it was just so weird that he was in the middle of the movie. Jacob was in the middle of the movie for a good amount of it. Edward is in the beginning and the end. I was like, alright. Good job, guys. Good fucking job. But he's not dead. Alice stops them from killing her because the reason why she saved her is because she knows vampires exist. She either must have been killed or transformed into one. And I was just like, guys, just stop. And then we get to the very, 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 very end of the movie. where Edward and Jacob and Bella are all in the same spot. It was weird. It was really weird. It just felt very odd, and they kept looking at each other and everything. And I was like, okay, and he just leaves. Like he was just like, whatever, dude. So yeah, that's it. And Edward told Bella that he will change her into vampire after she marries him. Yay, that's gonna be great. Most definitely great. Yes. We're really looking forward to that. That's gonna be awesome. Definitely awesome. Jacob still has feelings for her, probably. But Edward just got in the mix again. He was just like, fuck, he's back. All right, whatever. Um, it's there. It's there. All the try stuff with the werewolf stuff was cool. I really liked what they were doing, but it was just so hammy. It was like, yeah, talking, do a lot of talking, guys. Sure, why not? But all that felt like a waste, I guess, after Jacob just realized, well, Edward's back. So I'm just gonna go now. I don't know. Not a bad thing. I just felt like this is gonna be the start of the love triangle thing, and it will with the next one. It will. So it's just overall, I mean, Twilight New Moon is just not good, but it's not bad. I can still sit there and watch it and at least enjoy what's on there. I just feel like, in a critic perspective and a reviewer's perspective, it's just not a good movie. It's more boring. I just at parts. I felt sad. And I feel bad because this movie could have done better. The acting's still there. I liked what they did with Jacob's character and the tribe of the werewolves and everything. That was cool. But Edward disappearing for a good amount of the movie was so weird. It was so stupid. They could have put him in parts in the middle from a good majority of it. But people would say, oh, he's there in the middle of the movie, but I don't count it because he's barely there. It was so sad. And then the end of the movie to where he's committed the suicide stuff and everything, made the Volturi, and then him come back, and him and Jacob, like, do that staring thing and everything. I was like, alright, it's there. It's whatever, I guess. It's what it is. To me, this is more. I like the first one better than this one to me. And someone else I know say that. But maybe they disagree. But maybe that's what I differ. I just feel like this is just boring at times. I can still sit there and watch it, but it's there, whatever. It's the same thing you've seen before. I was just there watching it. I can just sit there and watch it, or if I owned it, sure. No, that's fine, whatever. But as a reviewer way, I just was there. I'm gonna give Twilight New Moon a C minus. Not a bad movie. Still an average movie, at least for what it is. But overall, it was still not a good movie, unfortunately. They were just doing some weird stuff. It's there. Whatever. Let's move on. So that is the review for Twilight New Moon, people. Until then, peace out.